Okay, so before we import all our data into MySQL Workbench, let's just try these 5 exercises. So we'll just do them one at a time. The first one is to display a count of movies by film duration in a pivot table, sorted by count of movies. So I can just pause now if you want to, and I'll go over the answer. Okay, so let's just go over the answer for that one. So we'll insert a pivot table in our Netflix title sheet. Just at the top here, insert pivot table. And I'm just going to keep it in the same sheet. So we wanted to see a count of movies by film duration. So to do that, we'll bring in our duration. So we're going to see 1, 2, 3, etc. because it's showing seasons at the moment. But if we drag type into filters, we'll change that to a movie. It's only going to show movies, so there is some short movies as well. And then we want to show a count of show ID. And then what we will do to sort it is to right click, sort, largest to smallest. So most movies are 90 minutes long. Okay, so the next exercise is to sum the duration of movies released between 1990 and 2000 using SUMIFS. Okay, so let's just answer that question in cell I2. So equals SUMIFS, open bracket, and then we want to sum the duration. So that's the first criteria, is the sum range. So we just click in cell G2, Control Shift and down, and then we can just put in our comma. So Excel knows what to sum. Then our criteria will be, our first criteria will be for the release year to be greater than 1990. So we'll just click into cell E2, Control Shift and down. So that's the criteria range. So now we need the criteria. So open our double quotation marks, greater than 1990, close, comma, and then it's going to be the same range, which is E2 to E8808, but our criteria for the second one will be that it's less than 2000. Then we can close our brackets. So yeah, sum range, criteria range 1, this is the first criteria, criteria range 2, and then this is the second criteria. So 25,312 minutes. Okay, so next we'll count how many TV shows were added each month, regardless of the year. So we'll use a pivot table for that also. Okay, so you can see we have our month name in our date added column, but it also comes with the day and year. So let's just delete our pivot table first. And what we can do, so you could either split the text to columns, but I think we'll just insert a new column ourselves called month code, and we'll use left, and we'll just bring back the first 4 characters, 3 actually, yeah, just for a sort of short code for a month. And then if we just double click at the bottom corner, it will do that for all of our date added cells. And then now we can just Control Shift and down, Control and C, and then we want to paste the values just to remove the formula. And then from here, we'll insert another pivot table. We'll just bring it in next to our data. And now we can use our month code. Okay, so now we've come across an issue, and you can see it's only displayed sometimes 2 letters because there was a blank space before, and that's because we haven't trimmed that column. So what we want to do is first trim it. So let's just delete this pivot table. We could either trim the month code, but I would actually prefer to trim the date added, and then we will replace this. So we will trim, no, we'll just trim everything. So I'll just start from the column name, and then we'll just double click. So let's delete our column I, and then let's just copy and paste our values, because we're going to replace this. So Control and C, and then right click, paste values. So now it removes the calculation, and then we can now replace this column D with our trimmed date added. So I hit Control and X, so it will remove the column, and then Control and V to paste it into column D. Now we'll repeat the process. Month code equals left, and then just 3. So hopefully now we won't have that issue. Control and C, and then paste values. So let's try it again. Insert a pivot table. Okay, so now you can see we just have January to December. And let's just count our show ID. So 10 are blank because there is no value. Okay, so the final 2 questions. Display a unique list of release years. And to show a pivot table with rating on columns, release year on rows, and the sum of duration as the value. Okay, so for a unique list of release years, we just, in cell J3, for example, I'll just equals unique, open brackets, and then we'll just highlight column E, close brackets. So now we have a unique list of release years. And the final one was to insert a pivot table. So I'm just clicking anywhere, insert pivot table. We'll do it in a new worksheet. So we want to see the rating on the columns, the release year on rows, and the duration. So we'll just sum the duration. Okay. So as we go further down, we'll see the more recent release years is where there's more data. Okay, so that's it for the questions. So now we'll just have to delete everything. And we'll delete our pivot table here and our release year. And I mean, we could bring in our month code, but I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so in the next video, we will prepare this data. We're going to need to put each sheet into its own workbook, and then we'll bring all that data into MySQL Workbench. So I'll see you in the next video.